losing to last week's leftovers.
Time to bring the juice.
When every day feels like Monday, bring the juice. Minute Maid.
John Cena has wrestled his final match. Obafemi's going to be on the show. R-Truth is going to be on the show. This is the Saturday night's main event, John Cena's final match. Recap, a WWE and Fanatics original production presented by Minute Maid. Megan, I don't know that we have ever come together at a more emotional time.
I don't think we have.
For me, and I'm sure for you as well.
We were just in an arena with crying grown men and children.
And it was so funny watching everybody process this so differently. I mean, I felt like usually when you and I are on the floor together, like I'm kind of going a little nuts.
There's a lot of nudging. There's a lot of exchanging of glances. There's a lot of chanting. This was the most locked in I've ever seen you.
I was in quiet.
You were taking every ounce of all of this in.
I mean, it was...
You were even very calculated about when you took out your phone and took a picture, which usually you're not, because you wanted to take it in.
That's so funny that you noticed that.
I did.
Is 100% true. That I was like, okay, I'll get this shot or whatever, but like, no, I need to live this.
Yeah.
Because it really is. I mean, as far as retirements go, there's never been anything like this before. But there's never been anyone like John Cena before. And I think that a part of this is that year, this year, retirement tour, was not just a moment to be like, hey, wouldn't it be nice to give fans a year to see John, for him to go to 36 different cities or however many it was, and to wrestle in front of these crowds again, everywhere from New Jersey to Perth, Australia, to here in Washington, D.C., you know, and I think that while that was what it was on the surface, what it ended up being was a year to allow people to be like, yeah, I love this guy. Like the level of appreciation, especially after he turned back babyface. Yeah.
It grew each and every show.
Yes. And I think if you go, and I was talking on the Countdown show, and I believed this. Peter Rosenberg thought I was trolling. I believed it. That like that big moment of the year for John Cena for me, like, of course you have the Elimination Chamber turn. But watching him on that SmackDown leading to SummerSlam kind of become the old John Cena again, it was like, logically, you go, how can he just decide in one promo in one night to just be like, nah.
Because it's John Cena.
Exactly. And that, to me, like, is so symbolic, emblematic of, like, the relationship that John Cena has with the audience and how much we wanted this John Cena that we have had since August, that we got here tonight. And I mean, I have to tell you, I've been around some loud audiences. I was there when Triple H returned at Madison Square Garden after his quads. And I mean, I that's sort of my go-to of like, man, that was just about as loud as I've heard an arena. It's a little different in a stadium because there's no roof to it. But like, also I was there when John Cena returned at the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
At Madison Square Garden as well. And that was an incredibly loud reaction. But the sustained level of volume throughout this entire match was like nothing that I've ever heard. It was like, this is the beauty of pro wrestling, that there's this story being told in the ring between the ultimate villain in Gunther and the ultimate hero who has been by your side for 20 years in John Cena. And we're all locked in to the exact same story. And unlike most stories in professional wrestling, it had an end.
It did.
This is the end of John Cena's story. Now, I could go a lot further and go, well, maybe John Cena saw his story as just this little part of the bigger story, which is the story of pro wrestling, which, I mean, clearly now goes forward. A chapter is closed.
Yes.
Another chapter begins after tonight. But, I mean, for you, what were your feelings when, I mean, because you were going nuts. Attitude adjustment, sleeper, attitude adjustment, sleeper. When John gave Gunther the tap.
Well, it hit me during the match when it was the point of attitude adjustment, sleeper, attitude adjustment, sleeper, that, oh my gosh, Gunther wants to make John Cena quit. And that might be what we see tonight. And I don't want to see that.
I mean, it was brilliant. The way that Gunther, and it wasn't even like traditional.
I was
like,
cheering for the match to not end
Of course,
because
nobody-
I didn't want Cena to tap.
I love that. You're 100% right. You're 100% right. Because you knew that it was like, well, it feels inevitable.
Yes.
You know? But
Yes.
you don't want it to be inevitable. You want this one to be the one that's different. I thought it was genius the way Gunther wasn't necessarily using traditional submission moves the whole time, but would just like clothesline him. And man, we were a few yards away from the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just as hard a clothesline as I've ever seen Gunther throw. But Gunther telling the referee to ask him if he gives up. I'm just going to keep clotheslining him. Ask him if he gives up. I'm just going to keep hitting him.
He was relentless.
Right. Ask him if he gives up. And of course, John Cena is not giving up.
And the crowd is chanting, "Don't give up. Don't give up." I looked to my right and there was a boy, tears rolling down his face.
That was me.
It wasn't you, but there was a little boy in the crowd, just tears rolling down his face.
There's
You
this
were
small
just locked
child.
in.
There's
and
this small
so
child.
serious.
He was bald and had a beard.
But it just like you, you just really like it. Everybody in the audience was feeling
Yes.
so much, so hard, and was sort of in disbelief that this has to end.
Yeah, and then it's happening at all. And like, I mean, dude, like every attitude adjustment. And it hit me like, I had to like, there were a couple of times where I was biting the inside of the lip. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
hey, control yourself, Roberts.
Yeah.
Like when he hit the first attitude adjustment, I was like, oh yeah, that's so. And then I was like, what if that was the last attitude adjustment?
Oh, no.
When he locked on that STFU in the beginning of the match, I was like, what if this is the last time he locks that hold on?
And the whole day felt so celebratory of John Cena and his
100%.
career that when we're standing there and it goes, oh no, like this day has been amazing, right? We've been watching all these Cena packages. We did the whole countdown show where we're celebrating Cena's career. And I realized this is how we have to go home.
Bro, I felt like I was taking my dog to the vet to be like,
Oh,
hey.
stop.
You know, I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy, the feelings that were going through my body. Crazy. That's why I had to just just allow it to all be felt. You know? I mean, I think clearly, like, listen.
There was a moment where I said, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can stand on the floor for this. Like, I think I need to go back.
Too much.
I think I need to go back.
I thought that as far as this match goes, and I don't know, you know, how people are going to feel. I think people are going to have a lot of different reactions to this because it wasn't a happy ending.
No.
And you could hear the audience reaction to the fact that they did not get a happy ending. And I mean, there is something about that that I think is beautiful in the sense that, like, I don't like it when the bad guys get cheered.
Me either.
I don't like it when bad things get cheered. I don't like it. I as much as I wanted to see John Cena win, and as much as I wanted to see everybody get their confetti moment that they all wanted, there was also something so incredible about watching people react to the bad guy winning and being unhappy, which is exactly what wrestling is, what it has been, like what I grew up with, like where it's like, what do you mean he won? That's the bad guy. I didn't want him to win, and I still wish he hadn't won. Even if you know logically, there are a lot of wrestling fans now that are you know, smart and know what this thing is, quote unquote, right? And they go,
Are you talking about Unreal?
yeah, the Unreal fans. And they go like, well, I know that the story is supposed to go this way, so blah, blah, blah. And that's the lens that they watch through. And it's not the best lens to watch through because then you miss just experiencing the story.
Yes.
And I felt like tonight we all collectively, and by the way, I've been guilty of that as well.
All of us.
Yes. And I feel like tonight we all got to experience just feeling the story and just whether it was good or bad, just allowing the story to be the story and feeling what the results of that story were.
And the story of Gunter has been a career ruiner in 2025.
Oh yeah, well, career ender. I mean, this guy is like in the same calendar year, and that's another thing. Like
Career ender, yes.
yeah.
Does it?
Well, I mean,
Ends
it ruins it for us.
Yes.
He ruins it for us. He's a fun ruiner. He's a good time ruiner. He's a we can have this wonderful moment. And Gunther's like, I have a different idea for a moment. It's wonderful to me and no one else. That's where Gunther's coming from. And he chooses his moment. And unfortunately, not many of us have the power to stop him from having his moment, which is in direct conflict with the moment that we want. But that's Gunther. The fact that he retired Goldberg and John Cena in the same calendar
It's nuts.
year. He was world heavyweight champion and retired Goldberg and now retires John Cena. I mean, I believe that Gunther is on a different level today, right now. I think the Gunther that leaves Washington, D.C. is on a completely different level, and that is saying a lot. Because like I just said, Gunther walked into WrestleMania this year as the defending world heavyweight champion. Mm-hmm. And I think that my perception of Gunther is that he is on a completely different level. This is a Gunther who, if he's going to run around beating guys like John Cena in his last match, he just got elevated to unbeatable.
This is one of the first things you mention when you think of Gunter.
It's the first thing, not one of. It's the first thing. And it may be the first thing. Look, Brock Lesnar has done a lot.
But ending the streak is the number one thing.
This is that. This is that. I think that 50 years from now, Gunther, yeah. He's the guy that
Retired
beat John Cena in his last match. Yes. I think that's what was formulated. That was what the result of tonight ultimately was. You know, I think that I think that there is something like, and this idea that, listen, like hustle, loyalty, respect, John Cena has been a staple of this thing for 20 years. Like I said, you know, he starts in 2002. By 2005, he's captured the imagination. He wins his first WWE championship at WrestleMania 21. And it's like, no looking back. But by the way, like John Cena had to battle everything. He had to battle fan perception because by 2006, we were turning on him already.
Yeah.
2006, we were turning on him. We pretend like, why couldn't you we've been turning on him. We turned on him at 2006. He was acknowledging it, but he kept going and he kept going. And then The Rock comes back and he's like, now I have to convince people not only to cheer for me, but to cheer for me instead of literally the most charismatic WWE superstar of all time. And still, he's able to overcome that mountain and overcome that mountain and overcome that mountain. And we watch this, which, by the way, in my opinion, John Cena's greatest rivalry over the course of his career has been with us, has been with the fans. Like they say that every great good guy has to have that, like, monster to conquer. Mm-hmm. I think we were the monster. It wasn't Umaga. It wasn't Great Khali. It wasn't Randy Orton, it was us. And by the way, if you were in the arena in Washington, D.C., if you were watching on Peacock, he did it.
He did.
He conquered that monster.
Without question.
He conquered that monster. Gunther's the only one left that he didn't conquer. But like watching him like take so much of a beating from Gunther and still fight back and still fight back and still fight back. We got that never give up Cena, never give up Cena, never give up Cena.
I mean, there was Super Cena chants throughout the arena.
You don't understand how Super Cena was not a positive term. Super Cena was a negative. People didn't like Super Cena. People hated that he was Super Cena. I was booing Super Cena.
Not tonight.
And I was in awe just being a part of this building that was chanting Super Cena. because you don't know what you got until it's gone. And we did not realize. I never in a million years, if you had asked me 15 years ago, would have been like, yeah, one day it'll be the loudest chant you ever hear. They'll be chanting Super Cena because it's what we want. But you're 100% right. They were chanting Super Cena. They were going crazy for the 5 moves of doom. It was everything. But that's what I mean about, like, it was beautiful. And to people that are, like, super bummed out, which I don't blame you because the bad guy won, you know what my 6-year-old daughter says?
What does she say?
She says if it's not a happy ending, then it's not over yet. That's what isn't that beautiful?
That really is beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful?
I love that.
Now,
Wise beyond her years.
That said, Cena ain't coming back. That's over.
Oh.
That's done.
Why do you have to just...
That's done.
You just had a beautiful moment, and then you just rain on our parade.
He's not coming back.
That's what I felt like Gunther did. I was like, can't we just...
I know.
Just one more time,
because that's the other
please?
thing. Like, Cena has
Can we
also...
just go home happy?
No, not this time. Maybe one day, but not this time. And not associated with Cena. Cena's done such a tremendous job of, like, going everywhere and being like, no false hope, no false promises. This isn't a build to WrestleMania. This isn't a when Cena going to get his win back. This isn't any of it. I'm done. And Cena at the end of the match, standing up to applause and just saying, I gave you all I had.
And then taking the sweatbands off.
Oh,
leaving
and the
his
sneakers.
shoes,
And leaving him in the ring.
and then
taking
walking down the ramp.
taking his final bow.
Ugh.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I feel
And
like...
the camera following him all the way.
Of course. Stu.
It was on so many different levels, right?
Very much so.
It was...
And I mean, like, we talked about it with him when he did the Raw Recap podcast in Madison Square Garden, when, you know, we brought up that these were some of the best matches in his career that he was having this year. And he said, yeah, but that's because of I know what's at the end of
Yes.
it. And so when he's like, I had that answer in my head when and go back and watch that interview if you haven't, it was awesome. But like when he said that, I was like, yeah. And then he stands in the middle of the ring and says, I gave you all I had. I go, he ain't talking about tonight. He's talking about the year.
The entire tour.
And like, yeah, this is it. I'm going to come back and give you everything. But once I've given you everything, I've given you everything.
And then it's done.
And then it's done. You said you wanted to ask me something.
Well, I wanted to ask you what moment was it when you thought, I don't want this match to end? Because for me, I was like, this can't end. I
Yes.
was trying to protect my feelings. I was trying to protect myself.
You
Was
can't.
there a moment where you said, I don't want this to end. I can't handle this?
First of all, in pro wrestling, you can't protect your feelings. You got to let those feelings fly. Sometimes for some of us, it's the only thing our cold and broken hearts will allow feelings into. Pro wrestling. It's the only thing that can get it done. So no, I mean, I try, especially at a moment like this, I try to not block that out. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
try to just allow, as like ridiculous as some may say it is, that doesn't bother me whatsoever. I'm like, no. I'm going to feel every bit of this. And like, it was more, so that's a great question, because it was more for me, like this week, talking about it on the radio. I was having such a fun time talking about it and like the last match and what could happen and other people's opinions about it. And I was like, I'm so excited this is happening, but I don't want to get there. And even coming to DC, it's like, this is so great, you know, driving down to DC, seeing people in the hotel. This is super fun. This is such a great weekend.
And I even saw your post on social media, and you blatantly said you're not ready.
And I said, I'm not ready, right? I don't want it to get here, right? Yeah, that's exactly right. This morning I wake up, I'm posting all my pictures of John Cena that I've had over
You're
the
going back to
years.
Sam with hair, posting those pictures.
Which there are people around here, by the way, who don't believe that person ever existed.
We have an action figure of it.
I know. I kind of like those people. I don't. Sam with hair was like a whole different deal.
A couple lifetimes ago.
I think so. But I was like, this. I'm just in this moment. This is great. I'm not ready for it. Even the show, watching Oba and Cody and Soul and Bailey and that amazing tag match, the segment with Truth and Miz and Joe Hendry. I was like, this is amazing. I don't want the main event to come. Once Cena's entrance hit, and once Lillian Garcia did that amazing job with that final entrance for John Cena, I had succumbed to it. Once the match began, once the bell rung, I said, "We're here." There's no at no point in that match was I said now the story must be told. That's where I was at from the very beginning of the match. Now the story must be told. And yeah, I wasn't at that point. I was no longer. I don't want this match to end. I was
along for the ride.
I was along for the ride, and now it's time for the story to be told. And man, was that story told. I really thought it was an incredible match.
I did too.
And I really thought that, like, the ability to tell this story where you know where it's going. Gunther spelled it all out for you.
Gunther told us he was going to make Cena quit.
He said, "I'm going to make you give up. I'm doing that." He said, And
there came a point in the match where we said, okay, he's going to give it up. He's going to give up. It's inevitable. But he fought back every time and made you believe.
That's what I mean. And
maybe one more time.
People could hold on to hope like that and believe that and everything. I just thought.
Chanting, "Don't give up."
Yeah. I just thought it was amazing. And the whole thing made me really happy for John Cena, because John has done so much. Like, I was talking about this on a podcast that I did. I think I did it on Friday, where I was just this is how I'm feeling. This is where I'm at. And you say these big things about John Cena and these oh, he's this important, he's that important, he's the top guy. But the way John Cena handles himself is so unique to people in wrestling, in terms of the fact that he says, "I'm here to make the business better," and does it in a way that is even more selfless, in my opinion, than how it sounds when he says it.
It was wild because watching one of the tribute videos, right, it had all of the current superstars in WWE, doing the "you can't see me" or holding up various signs backstage.
Right.
And they played old clips, too, of Cena and Becky together, and Becky doing the "you can't see me," and in different moments of Cena interacting with current top WWE superstars. And it really hit me, oh my gosh, Cena has guided and has a fingerprint on all of this.
All of them. All of this. All of this. All of them. Whether it's because you're Javon Evans and Leon Slater that grew up watching John Cena, whether it's because you entered into a WWE where John Cena is the top guy, whether you're the generation of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens who were going on the road with John Cena as a mentor, whether, because, this John Cena, he would work every single show, every single live event, and this is when they were doing 3 to 4 live events every single week, watching everybody's matches, and everybody has these stories. This isn't me just spewing the legend. Everybody that we have talked to has these same stories of John watching every match, giving advice, shaping it. And it really hit me, right? When you look at this year's WrestleMania poster and that commercial that they did, the poker game.
Yes.
It's just this incredible production with this incredible display of superstars. And you're like, oh my God, look at the star power in the WWE right now. And you look around that poker table, and who are you marketing WrestleMania behind? The biggest wrestling event of the year. Who are you marketing WrestleMania behind? CM Punk, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, and Cody Rhodes. Money in the Bank 2011, SummerSlam after WrestleMania 30, Big Dog Roman Reigns and Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, and SummerSlam 2025. John did what he does for all 4 of those stars on that poster. All 4 of those stars that are unfathomably big wrestling stars all became bigger wrestling stars because they got the opportunity to fight and beat John Cena. And the fact that not only did he do that for all 4, but he had so much that he was able to continue to do it and continue to do it and continue to do it. And with every sort of, amount of energy that he got from wrestling, it was then okay, when the time is right.
It's like inertia.
Now this is yours. Now this is yours. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And yeah,
it feels like selling it short, saying, John Cena left the business better than he found it. That sounds like a cliche, but he left it I mean, his fingerprints are all over
on everything.
everything.
On everything. He's foundational in a pretty unprecedented way, especially because he did it for so long.
Yes.
You know, like nobody's the top guy that long. And some of it is because of fans and interest, and other people it's the workload. You know what I mean? And other, like it's like, you know.
And it's also really hard to do what John Cena did at the level he did it in front of the fans, but also to be that person backstage who is guiding and mentoring, being that person that everybody has a story about, everybody
right.
has an interaction with, everybody has a shared experience with John Cena in a way that elevated them.
That's right. That's right. I mean, for me, I think that the John Cena match and the whole John Cena run, to me, it brought the juice. That's what I think. I think it brought the juice.
Yeah?
You know, that's absolutely. I'll tell you, I came back here.
And you said, I'm feeling some juice.
I said, that's the juice. It brought the juice. I go, the emotions that I've gone through right now, it has dehydrated my body completely.
And what better way to rehydrate than
The
juice?
first thing that I did was I grabbed me a Minute Maid pink lemonade, and I said, I'm going to finish this, and then I'm going to go for a fruit punch, and then we can start the podcast. That's exactly, is that true or is that false?
That's true. That's very true.
Everybody
You did
says
that.
true.
Yes.
The whole crew, and even Megan.
You did, yeah.
That's true, right?
You did that.
This is why I love it, and I'm so glad that Minute Maid is a part of this. Of course, Minute Maid, bring the juice. Now, speaking of somebody who brings the juice every time, we got the opportunity to conduct an interview immediately after the superstars left the ringside area celebrating John Cena. Somebody who has been a huge part of this year of John Cena and somebody who has outwardly expressed his affection for John Cena for a very long time. Right after Saturday night's main event went off the air, we were joined in this room by the one and only R-Truth. While the wound is still open, John Cena's gone. Everybody's feeling emotional, but somebody who might be able to bring a smile to people's faces, R-Truth, is here with us. Truth, you were, and we talked about this earlier today, I think a bigger part of John Cena's retirement year than even you could have expected. I mean, 2 matches, a bump through a table at a press conference, a return after an exit at Money in the Bank.
Right.
I mean, just a massive, everywhere throughout the year, as well as backstage interactions. How are you feeling right now?
It's bittersweet. It's bittersweet. Man, he's dedicated so much to the business. When I say dedicated so much to the business, his time, his body, his mind, his resilience, he's dedicated so much to the business, man. And for him to be able to pick the time to do that exit, I mean, we all have to get off that ride at some point. Bro, it's bittersweet, man. We don't want to see him go. I don't want to see him go. Nobody else want to see him go. We want to, nothing lasts forever. And he's able to do it on his own terms. That's what makes me happy and proud. He was able to achieve, if you saw the highlights, the little kid with the belt, he achieved more than he probably thought he could achieve.
I mean, he achieved
But
more
he
than
believed
anyone
it.
has.
Yes, and he believed in himself. So if anything, man, he's a walking testimony. He's living proof of believing in yourself, never giving up, having loyalty to yourself, to the business, to people, and just respecting everything. But he's a prime example of what it is to be where you are.
I mean, Truth, look down at your chest. You, CM Punk, Kevin Owens, just to name a few, are all wearing John Cena's merch. How many wrestlers are there on the planet that would have the locker room wearing their merch at their farewell show?
Not many.
I mean,
many. This is his day. This is his day. And well-deserved. It's almost like you hear that phrase, we never take time to smell the roses, to stop, and we smelling them now.
yeah, and he's getting his flowers while he can still smell
He's
them.
getting his flowers while he can smell them. Yes, man. So it's bittersweet, man. We don't want to see him go, but we applaud. We applaud him. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
He did it.
It's crazy. He did it.
We all knew that this final match was coming. I mean, John Cena announced that there was going to be a final date on the
He
tour.
did, yes.
And it was today, but I don't know if any of us could have anticipated how we would feel when it came to an end. Did you prepare for that at all? And what was it like as you took it in watching John Cena's final match?
I prepared for it, but you can never prepare for nothing that's like sometime in the moment is the best reaction to get. That way you don't have to act. It's naturally, organically coming from you. So I prepared myself for, this is his last ride, his last run. He's done. But the emotion I felt, seeing it happen, the energy, the people, the whole vibe was just, it was a supportive vibe. And it's almost like it was a bittersweet. So proud, so happy for him to have his moment. His wife was right there. The people were showing the love. He left his shoes right. Like the moment was so good. I wanted to be all about him. I didn't want to make him feel sad or feel bad. I wanted him to be proud of what he was doing. Because I've always believed in what he did. You know what I'm saying? We always believed in what he did. That's why we all showed up for him.
And what's really great about you and the point that you're at in your career is now you can forever tell everybody that at John Cena's final match, on John Cena's last show, you got to talk to the world about Nick Aldis's balls.
Yes, because Miz did something inappropriate with Nick's balls.
I heard that. I heard you out there. You had mentioned.
Yes, he founded the balls, bro.
Yeah.
He founded them and took the name out.
Right.
Sorry, but he took the name
He
out.
did. No, you're right. I don't know what they're laughing at. You're right.
Yeah, he took the name out.
Yeah.
And it was Joe Henry's name. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't do that, dog.
You don't do that with somebody else's balls.
No, bro, them Knicks balls.
Those are Knicks balls.
Those are British balls. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying.
What do you mean British balls?
He's British. You didn't know he was British?
I know,
Nick's
but
British. Now I
British
brought my
balls-
own balls. Good old-fashioned American balls.
That's right.
But he didn't want to use mine. I said, Nick, they clean. I want them to look good on TV. So he used his own balls. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean,
it was
he's
good.
the GM.
But Miz did something inappropriate with him.
That's right.
He
And he had to be
disrespected.
called out. And you know what? That's the point, right? John Cena has held himself with such character to allow somebody who's done something inappropriate with Nick Aldis's balls on John Cena's last show. You couldn't allow
On
that.
TV.
On TV. He did it
People
on TV.
saw him do it.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I'm saying?
Basic
Like,
cable.
bro, he got no dignity, bro, you got no morals, no nothing.
Right.
It's kind
He's
of
gonna-
crazy. Everybody saw him do it, and you're the only one to call him out.
Nick had his balls in his hand because he was talking to me.
That's right. I remember that. And you tried to point his balls out to him multiple
Yes.
times. I was watching every single week.
But it's like you can't point at anybody's balls. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Like,
you have to know them.
Right. You have to know the person.
Those are the rules about pointing at someone's balls.
You should know them. I mean, if you're going to be that forward.
Well, his balls was already spoken for.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
He had the names already on them. Miz just switched them.
See?
He
Tricky.
switched the name,
That's-
right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then he made the cardinal sin. He said his name, and he appeared. Joe Hendry.
With that smile.
You love that smile.
I love the smile. It's $1 million smile, dog.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, you can buy you or sell anything with that smile, right?
Yeah.
It's $1 million.
You can sell some new balls with that smile.
That's right.
Right?
I was ready to buy some.
You can sell any kind of balls. American, British, whatever we on. You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, Scottish.
Scottish ball. I haven't seen Scottish
Is he?
balls.
You've never seen?
Can you put a note in them?
Of course you can.
Oh, okay. Are
Yeah,
they
they're
clean?
made the same way.
Are they clean?
Depends on who you ask.
That's true. Depending
know
on
what I
where you
mean?
get them from, too.
That's right. That's 100% right.
Gosh.
And were they used?
Right.
You
right.
gotta be careful.
I don't want balls that's been used a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like
No, I wouldn't either.
What are we talking about?
Would they lose their
the game. The last.
Yeah, they
time
don't
is
close.
right.
We're
the
talking
game.
about Joe Hendry
His name
coming
was-
out tonight,
Right.
and we don't need to talk about balls.
That's why
His
he came
name
out.
was
His
in the
name-
balls.
understand.
Miz had done.
All
Did she
right.
not?
Yeah, I don't think you heard
I'm
me,
just
man.
trying to talk about wrestling.
It's
There's
wrestling.
obsessed
That's
with
what we're talking about.
balls.
It was on.
There's a tournament going on.
Yeah, I understand that.
There was a tournament going on, right? And Nick had these balls inside, you know what I'm saying? Inside this big old thing, right?
Right. It was Nick's
And
ball.
he was spinning the balls.
Yeah, I
spinning
saw
the
it.
balls,
I watched the product. Yeah, I saw
Spinning the
this.
balls.
Spinning the balls.
Get
moving
one
them
out,
around.
handle the balls.
He would grab them
Yeah.
and open them up. You ever seen the crack ball? He was
Yeah.
cracking balls.
Yeah.
He was cracking ball. He cracked the ball open.
Right.
While he would crack the ball open, he was holding them.
Right.
And Miz came in.
Yeah.
I'm talking to Nick. And Miz, that's when he had his chance to be inappropriate. You don't take something when nobody ain't looking, right?
Right. You don't
You don't
switch
do
out
that.
somebody's balls when they're not
Oh
looking.
man, come on.
That's horrible.
Well, I was
It's
happy
not
to see
horrible.
Joe Hendry get
It's
his
almost
opportunity
assault.
tonight.
Huh?
It is. Yes, it is.
I was really happy to see Joe Hendry get his opportunity tonight. You know?
He should have.
Yeah.
Those
You
was
guys-
his balls.
That's right.
His name was in the ball, right?
And you knew that from the beginning.
I knew it from the well, I didn't know it was him, but
You knew. It was,
I knew it wasn't Miz.
That's right. That's right.
I knew it wasn't Miz. All that talk about he having big balls, no,
You know why? Because Miz has small balls. You know why?
very small.
Only 3 letters. M-I-Z. You don't need a big ball to put a note like that.
don't,
It's a
you
small
don't.
note. That's why the balls are small.
I'm talking about the little $10 machine, the one that got the little small
That's
balls
right.
in there. Yeah,
That's right.
You can put Miz in that one.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas Joe Hendry, much
That's-
longer note,
So-
bigger
Them
ball.
big balls.
Big balls.
So do you
Big
think
one.
Miz got what he deserved tonight from Joe Hendry?
Absolutely.
And what about? I mean, this friendship. I mean, you guys look like a almost like a buddy cop
Christmas card.
Christmas card at the end of that
Christmas
thing. When you're
card,
Exactly
hugged
what it
together
was.
and
Yeah.
Christmas
smiling.
card.
Yeah, right. White man can't jump.
That's what I was thinking. You think? I was like, is that Wesley Snipes?
Then you want me to say it, right?
We're all
Okay.
cinephiles here, right?
Yeah, we all. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
So, I mean, on top of everything that you did as part of this Cena retirement tour, like we just said, you were here tonight on the last night as part of it as well. Is there a favorite moment that you were included in? Because this year, by the way, I mean, this is Cena's year,
yeah. it's
but
what
it
is,
has
yeah.
been a wild one for you as well.
Yeah.
Fair to say?
It is. It's very fair to say.
Yes.
Yes.
Is there a moment that you've had this year with John Cena associated around the John Cena retirement that you go, yeah, that one really stands out?
I can't pick one. Moments, man. Like, I think if you pick one solid moment, you're taking away from the other ones that meant just as equally.
Sure.
We've had so many good moments, man, for this year. They ended on a great note for him and for me.
Yeah.
Almost like it was our year. Kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, especially because you spaced out all your moments.
Them Cena
You're going
boys,
here.
them Cena boys, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I am Ron Cena, you know what I'm saying? So
when did that all come about? When did you realize he started as your childhood hero, which, by the way, people think,
everybody's brother is their hero.
you see, I didn't know that. I didn't. He's your older
But
brother.
do you get a number to 23andMe? Because that's what I talked to.
And they told you?
They told me.
You're Ron Cena.
DNA. I got pictures with me and his dad. Our daddy.
Your daddy?
Your
We got
dad.
different moms.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, that'll happen.
That's why you see I tweet. I said my brother from a different mother.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's for real.
Same father, though.
Same father.
Okay. A lot of times people don't.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't see- if you squint sideways, you can see the resemblance. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
we're twins. He was a couple minutes earlier.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about
just
the
had to be only a few minutes.
Right.
few minutes.
It was 2.
2 minutes. He came out, then you came out?
Yes.
Wow.
Shocking.
Except from different mothers.
Yeah, but still 2 minutes apart.
But both women were giving, without getting too graphic, both women were giving birth simultaneously.
Simultaneously, dog.
That's
Wow.
nuts.
It is,
Wow.
right?
That's fate.
It's a miracle.
It is a miracle just because of the way, I mean, just the conception.
It's life, son.
It's like it was
I guess
meant-
it is life.
It's life,
It's
son.
life, dude.
It's life, dog.
Right.
We here.
And we're here.
And we're here now, you know what I'm saying? Like,
That's right.
all these years later,
Right. You guys come together and
we
look
come
at this
together,
beautiful
dog.
moment.
We're at the same place, you know what I'm saying? Like,
It's like
do
it
the
was
same
meant to
thing.
be.
It was meant to be.
Yeah,
It
I mean,
was.
part of this retirement tour has been all the John Cena T-shirts that came out, a different T-shirt in every city. I'm sure you, at the beginning of this year, did not realize that you would also get a T-shirt based on the John Cena retirement tour. I mean, it was the most blatant theft since. I mean, you took the Judgment Days T-shirts, and then you said, "Well, I'm done with that.
This is true.
I'm done taking the Judgment Days T-shirts.
Yeah,
Who
the
else is
X on,
moving?
huh?
Who else is moving merch? Maybe I'll take some John Cena action over here."
So, are you calling me a troll?
No, I'm calling you an entrepreneur.
I'm an entrepreneur. yes, I am. Yeah, yes. I'm just spreading the love.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just spreading the love.
Right.
Yeah. Judgment Day, you know what I'm saying? Live, laugh, and love. They needed the love. You know what I'm
They
saying?
needed it
They
bad.
need a
They
lot
needed
of
it
love.
bad. A lot of
Have
love.
you found
know what I'm saying?
Nick?
I never found Nick. Never
That's
met
sad.
him.
Hate
That's
to
a
hear
shame.
that.
He hit me on the pager. He's called me.
Yeah.
But
He paged you?
He paged me.
Did you call him back? Is it 911?
Yeah, 911. You remember that? He 911 me, dog.
Yeah.
But I had no number to call him back on.
Oh, he just put
911.
911. It's Tom.
Yeah. Nick.
Nick. It was
Yeah,
Nick. Tom's
it was
here.
Nick.
We
It's
have-
Nick.
I was with Tom.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
Nick.
Yeah.
Said 911. Do you have his number? No, I don't have his number.
Tom and Nick, crazy, dog. Together? No.
No, sure. I get that. I get that. Fans, you say bittersweet when you talk about John Cena. John Cena went out the way Gunther said he was going to go out. John Cena tapped out. It's the first time John Cena's tapped out in 20 years. John Cena tapped out in his last match. And the reaction, it was almost reminiscent of looking at the audience when Brock Lesnar beat The Undertaker's streak.
It was.
You know, the audience could not
Yes.
believe, and that's it. What did you think when you realized that was it? That was how this is going to end?
I applaud it. Because John be the first one to tell you, you can't win them all. He'll be the first one to tell you, man, you got to hustle, loyalty, respect, never give up. But you can't win them all. You have to know, he always used to tell me, one hill at a time. Sometimes you have to know which hill to go up, which hill to come down. That right there was an applaud from me because it was a hell of a match.
It
And
was.
It really was.
He gave it everything he wanted to give it for his last stand. You know what I'm saying? Like he went out the way he wanted to. He went out fighting. He told you from the beginning, we're finna go out here and handle business. We're gonna give it all we got. I was appreciated. That was appreciative. I was happy for that.
And you could read the lips. He said that to the audience. He's like, that was all I had. And it was this beautiful moment because it was not just that was all I had in the match. This last year, I gave it all to you.
I gave it all to you. Win, lose, or draw, you getting all of me.
You're getting it all. And I feel like you're right. That is where you have to applaud it. That is where you have to go. That's perfect.
It's perfect. He's human, and he's giving you the definition of what he's always stood for.
Did you take a moment when you were out on the floor at all to look around the arena?
Yes.
What'd you see?
So many different expressions on faces. It was affecting. He was affecting and hitting people in so many different ways. Some people were crying. Some people was in shock. You could read people's faces like watching in him and mirroring him and just putting that impression in their minds because they know that might be the last time they're going to ever see him.
Yeah. I was saying before, but like every time he did an attitude adjustment, I was like, yeah. And then there was a part of me going, oh no, was that the last one?
Was that the last
Yeah.
one?
Did I just see the last one? And it was emotional.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because
You
like,
have to get emotional.
I think Miz said it, and he was 100% right when he talked about John as not being. He's one of these rare cases where he's foundational. He's not just that top guy of a generation. He's foundational in the sense that like every top guy since the whole locker, his fingerprints are on absolutely everything that you see around. Do you? You see AJ Styles is talking about retiring. This one's talking about retiring. That one's talking about retiring. Is there anything in your head after you see something like this? Do you go, oh man, I got to plan my exit, or do you go, we're gonna ride this until the wheels fall off?
I'm on deck. We on deck. We on
I don't want to
deck.
hear it. I don't mean to laugh. It doesn't make me happy.
You
It's just a
laugh.
great. It's just lots of good phrasing. It's just.
I'm on deck. AJ's on deck.
Yeah.
I just told Punk we all on deck.
You don't.
I told him all. Yeah. Carl, I told him all that. We all on deck, bro.
And by the way,
Y'all see that?
you're all lined
we
up
on deck. Yes.
And you're not all getting a year by the
Get
way.
behind me. Yeah. But oh man. I always like to say I steal this from The Rock. I let pain and my body be my guide as far as like when it's time for me to go. Right now, I still feel good. I've been injured a lot because I do moves. I do things that I learned from Booker T years ago. Psychology, I want to have longevity in the business. So I want to do things that I know I can do, I can get away with. But at the same time, it's entertaining, it's spectacular, it's fancy, and the crowd likes it. So now, when you get into the different aspects of it, of like you got younger talent coming in, and which is supposed to happen. Everything evolves and goes around. Yeah, dog. So what you say?
Cyclical?
I never heard that before. What?
Cyclical. It's like cyclical, like
Like a
almost like
cycle,
a ball, like a ball, like
Yeah,
it's
why you
round.
just say cycle?
It's like, remember Knicks balls?
Knicks balls,
Oh
yeah.
my
Remember
gosh,
how
here we
round that
go
was? How it
again.
went all the way around and then back to the beginning? Mm-hmm. Cyclical.
Cyclical. You gave me a new one.
Appreciate that.
I thought you were saying you were sickly. Okay.
No, I'm not sickly.
Okay, got you.
So it looks it.
I'm a little cyclical.
Oh, sir.
Don't mess with him. He's cyclical.
I'm sorry, you got cyclical. Okay, no, but I thought about it. As you know, I just renewed my deal, man. So it's like
I heard about that.
this could be the last one. Yeah,
Could be.
it's good, ain't big.
Right.
Yeah, so
Yes.
it's we all have to have that time. We all have to get off the ride at some point.
Let me ask you this. In 1 year, Goldberg comes back. Gunther goes, no, sorry. John Cena comes back. Gunther goes, no, sorry. When you look around and the people that you talk to, whether it's Punk or AJ or you, when you guys are looking around going, yeah, but no matter what our plan is, Gunther's going to ruin it at the end. He's going to put us all to sleep.
He's going to put us to sleep.
Yeah. I mean, that's got to be a thing now, right? Where it's like, well, we want this big thing, but Gunther's just, I mean, Gunther's the machine. He's going to go through everybody.
He is, and Gunther is I mean, he's awesome, dog.
He's unbelievable.
Gunther is a traditional athlete, and he studied the art. He studied his craft, and I see him as like one of the most technical wrestlers, man, of our time right now. He has star written all over him. He has the look. He has the moves. He has the mindset, the psychology. I mean, Gunther's all that.
Yeah.
I will get some revenge.
For your brother?
Man, come on.
You got him on your list now.
When I retire, it's probably who I'm going to go up.
With Gunter?
Yeah.
You going to beat him?
It's Fatback Greaser.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes. As a matter of fact, it is.
Yes.
Good for you. Good for you. Man, I mean, I don't know. I feel like, but you're right, in the psychology of it all, in the fact that like the presentation of Gunther, because like in all the time that you've been here with John and you've seen John. I mean, I remember when you had to be the bad guy that John Cena was going head to head with.
Right.
That's when you started a smoking habit.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
Bad,
That's
stinky
bad. That's
thing.
bad.
Yeah,
Why'd you
yeah,
have to bring
yeah.
that up?
Well, because it was bad, but I say this all to say, as a villain, which you have experience, as well as a hero, Gunther coming out and not only getting booed by the entire arena, but I mean, I was sitting there in awe of like realizing that those 5 moves of doom that everybody gave John Cena a hassle about. I mean, they were chanting Super Cena.
Yeah.
They were going
Yes.
crazy for the 5 moves of doom. It was like this whole thing. And I think Gunther's a big part of that, but I think it's also this like overwhelming appreciation and acknowledgement of John Cena, where it's almost us as fans going, man, I know we gave you a hard time. I'm sorry about that. We love this. We love
He's
you.
giving you taking a beating for us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, the
Yes.
realization.
You're
And
going
Gunther's
through
the
this-
guy. Yeah. Yeah.
for us.
Yes.
For our enjoyment, our entertainment. Which, like, it's emotional. It gets you right here in your gut. When you sit back and you realize and you get to like really capsize and think of everything in the situation like you just said, if you don't feel something, you're not human.
Yeah.
Right?
I think you and Broski brought this up on the radio. It was like those were the 5 moves of doom that everybody used to chant "You can't wrestle" for, and at the end of the day, that's what
That's what we
everybody
wanna see.
wanted to see tonight.
That's what we want to see. And
That's
it
all
goes
they
back
wanna
to what
see.
you were talking about with Booker, about what it's like. This is the psychology behind it. This is what is going to get people excited. It's going to make people react. These are the moves.
And look who we saw tonight.
Yeah, that's what people wanted to see. Well, Truth, man, I appreciate you giving us some of your time.
Oh, thank you.
You're
Oh,
the best.
man.
Thanks, Truth.
Thank
Talking
you.
to us right after. I mean, listen to you. Performing music on the pre-show.
Yeah, I had to do something for him. Yeah.
Getting in
man.
there with Miz and Joe Hendry on the show, and then with us here on the post-show podcast.
Yeah, I had to get the balls right, though.
I just
She didn't understand.
Yeah, I
think we spent a lot of time talking about
Megan
balls.
have balls.
No, I don't.
You
I
don't?
No, she
I
wasn't
do
in the
not
tournament.
have balls.
Oh, that's right. She wasn't in the tournament.
No,
We're not in the
no.
tournament?
No.
Not even just one of the mystery?
No.
Oh, okay. So
Shocking, I know.
So she doesn't have any
She
balls
wouldn't
at
have no
all.
balls,
She doesn't
no,
understand. No, she doesn't understand the fragility of them.
Of that, no.
No.
At all.
No. Truth.
Fragility?
Fragility. It's like when you're cyclical.
I thought you
I
said
was going to say
fragility,
cyclical.
Yeah.
That too. Truth, thank you so much, man.
Thank you. We always laugh when we were around together, Sam. We always, right?
Yeah. Man, our Truth was incredible.
The best.
I am so glad that we had our Truth in here. You know what our Truth did? He brought the juice.
He did.
Our Truth brought the juice.
He always does.
In a big, big way. And I mean, I'm telling you, this guy. I see you got the Cody
did.
Rhodes lemonade.
Yes, I gotta get some of this juice. I wasn't juicing enough earlier.
No. Well, you were just taking it all in at first. How's that Cody lemonade?
It's juicy, baby.
This is fantastic. I mean, Minute Maid. It's true though. I mean, I get emotionally drained when we talk about everything going on with John Cena. So and that makes you very, very thirsty. So to come back here with a delicious, refreshing beverage, and we got the blue raspberry, we got the fruit punch, we got the lemonade, we got the pink lemonade, we got everything that we need. So thank you to our Truth for bringing the juice, and thank you also because Minute Maid allows you to bring the juice. So, Megan,
Sam.
I've got to tell you that John Cena's final match was not the only match on this show. When John Cena designed this show, he said that it was kind of the only thing that he had kind of his creative hands on was the design of Saturday Night's Main Event. To the point that he's even done interviews talking about other stuff that has happened on this retirement tour that he's like, no, I don't know. They let me know what we're doing, and I go, okay, let's go do that.
Yep.
But he said the one exception that he made was that Saturday Night's Main Event was originally designed to be a full-on, John Cena show. And he said, wait a minute, what if we did exhibition matches between stars from NXT and some of the biggest superstars on the main roster, which was, huge, and also
Again, putting more fingerprints on the future superstars in WWE.
so on brand in the sense that, I think that there was a lot of stuff that happened tonight that people will look back on and go like, kind of the beginning of that for that person.
Was John Cena's final match.
That's right. That's 100% right. I mean,
When the world watched the Soul Snatcher for the first time all together.
that's what I was going to ask you about.
I mean, that's a moment.
And not only did they watch it, they were forced to take notice of it because Sol Ruca, caught Bailey with that perfect Soul Snatcher. And then 1, 2, 3. Sol Ruca beat Bailey. And I don't think a lot of people saw that coming.
I didn't.
Right. It was almost like, is that, oh, it's
That's
over?
it?
She did it? She did it?
Where's clean?
And-
Sol Ruca just beat Bailey,
And that's it. And that is how,
and they're replaying the Soul Snatcher, and
Oh.
you go, whoa.
because you're right. I'm sure there are a lot of people that were watching this show that hadn't seen the Soul Snatcher before.
That's right.
And that is the type of move where the second that you see it, you go, oh my.
It stops you in your tracks.
Yeah. I remember. I
You
think
hit pause on the TV and you rewind.
I don't even think she was on NXT television full time the first time I saw it. And I was like, there she is. You know what I mean? Like, okay, that's it.
She was on Level Up.
Right. We're going all the way with this one. That's incredible. And to see her kind of just get better and better and better and better. And
And the growth she's had this year with Zarya by her side.
Yes.
And really to stand in the ring with a superstar that's one of the 4 horsewomen in Bailey, and to belong and have nobody in the audience doubting
no.
that she should be there.
No, and to own the moment. A little drinkski. And to own and to own that moment and to have it be hers. It's like, and I thought that all the stars from NXT were just so aware of this is the platform that I'm on. I deserve to be on this platform. And, like, I'm here to show the world what I can do. And I think that Sol Ruca did that tonight. Were you were surprised when she beat Bayley?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very surprised. I mean, I thought she had an incredible match. I thought Bayley put on an incredible match as well.
She's the best.
I didn't see Sol walking away with the dub.
And I think that was a part of it with the whole sort of NXT thing was that, you know, you looked at this and you were like, man, this is going to be cool, but is main roster talent going to lose to NXT talent? We saw it with Sol Ruca.
Because then the conversation goes, well, does that mean Sol Ruca's coming up?
Should be up on the main roster
Where is Sol Ruca going to be? Where does she fit in? Where does she fit in on the main roster?
I don't think anybody would complain if Sol Ruca were on the main roster tomorrow.
Not at all.
You know what I mean? But I think, too...
but also, I mean, she has a partner in Zarya that I'd love to see her do big things with in NXT as well.
I would love to see him do big things in NXT. I would also love to see, as the women's tag team division is heating up like crazy right now, especially on Monday Night Raw.
You see Lash Legend last night?
Of course I saw Lash Legend last night.
Come on.
Forget about it. But what would happen if Sol Ruca and Zarya just showed up?
Even
What would
more
happen
depth.
if Sol Ruca and Zarya just were like, hey, we'd like to take a stab at this as well?
That would certainly disrupt the tag team picture.
And people would go like, yeah, this is all a result of that
Have a
appearance
drink,
on John Cena's. Yeah, have a little drink for yourself. Of John
The
Cena's
stutter in there. I need a little.
final match. Yeah, you got to bring the juice a little better than that. I think that there were a lot of people looking towards Obafemi versus Cody Rhodes
Yes.
and wondering how it was going to go. I saw people having a lot. There was a lot of discussion about this match.
Yeah, and
Who should
Oba-
win? Who should lose? About the amount of offense each person should have. I mean, people were looking at this match on a granular level.
Yes. And I also think it was one of those matches too where not only are you going to get the world to see Oba, but
Right.
on Friday Night SmackDown, when Oba stood in the ring with Cody Rhodes, he matched that intensity. He made you believe.
Right.
And you said, wow, Oba belongs.
Yes. And Oba coming out tonight and like sitting out there and hearing people we want let's go Cody, let's go Oba, let's go Cody, let's go Oba. It was so amazing to see. It was like the audience said was telling us we're ready for Oba and we're ready for Oba right now. And look, I don't think anybody's happy with a disqualification finish.
You can't be.
You know,
Because it left us wanting so much more.
it leaves you wanting more. It makes it so that you're almost like, okay, well, I thought, the point of this exhibition match was to find out who's better. At the same time, what was the full result of that disqualification? Drew McIntyre being involved. What was the full result of that? Tonight we saw Obafemi put his hands on Cody Rhodes a lot. And then we saw Obafemi put his hands on Drew McIntyre, which that is a net positive for Obafemi. When he knocked Drew McIntyre down on the ground and Drew McIntyre just looked up staring at him like, what is this force that I have never experienced before? That was an introduction to Obafemi. I mean, it was really, really well done. And right after Obafemi's match with Cody Rhodes, we ran back. We got off the floor of the arena and we ran back into our gorgeous and delicious Minute Maid podcast studio. And we said, we got to get Obafemi. We got to get Obafemi in the room. And the ruler marched right in holding the NXT championship from the ring into this room. This is our conversation with Obafemi.
Losing to last week's leftovers.
Time to bring the juice.
When every day feels like Monday, bring the juice. Minute Maid.
I mean, literally fresh out of the ring, off facing the WWE champion Cody Rhodes, the ruler. Obafemi is here. Oba, when you are in the ring in front of fans that have been watching Cody Rhodes, that have packed this building in Washington, D.C., so that they can see John Cena's final match, and you're in there with the WWE champion, and you hear, let's go Cody, let's go Oba. What are you thinking?
it just goes to show how much work, I've put into this. I'm undeniable at this point. The body of work in NXT spoke for itself tonight, and the match paid dividends. The crowd reacted to me like I've been here for decades, like I've been here for a very long time. It didn't feel like I didn't belong. It didn't feel like I was out of place. The work speaks for itself.
Well, Oba, it was, we're standing out on the floor, Sam and I, and Cody Rhodes' music hits first, which to me, I was a bit surprised. I thought it would be your music hitting first, and then Cody Rhodes, as the WWE champion, he would enter second. Was there any part of you when you were standing back in Gorilla that thought, oh, I hope they do the hope?
I knew they were going to. I came out on Friday Night SmackDown yesterday, and they responded. I heard the Oba feminists in the crowd chanting my name, doing the who. So no surprise there, and no surprise that Cody comes out first. You have to make the people wait for what they really want to see. The ruler is what they came to see. They've seen Cody Rhodes 1,000 times. This is special.
And it felt special. It felt special out there. You've had a lot of big matches in NXT, but right now in current WWE, I believe you could easily make the argument that Cody is the big match wrestler. Was there any difference to you in realizing that you were in there with Cody Rhodes, somebody that has main evented 4 WrestleManias in a row?
You definitely feel it. Being in there, coming up from NXT, I've wrestled the least intimidating, the most seasoned, the least seasoned, and out of everybody there, just the way Cody operates in that ring, you can tell he's one of the most seasoned, the most experienced, and the most dangerous guys we have on the roster. But then again, this is also the ruler, the destroyer. I'm also very dangerous in my own right, and arguably more dangerous than Cody himself. So there's definitely a difference, but I'm still up there with him.
It's also, to me, very interesting that you heard from so many people tonight that were talking about, they were paying a lot of reverence to John Cena, talking about tonight's being John Cena's night and having the honor of getting to compete on this card that John Cena put together. But for you, while you didn't show any disrespect, I feel like you still continue to carry yourself in a way, the same way you talk about the people out there that were waiting to see you, where this is your night as every other night that you compete in the ring is your night. Is that accurate? Is that how you were considering this?
That's definitely accurate, but I do respect John. I don't want the way I'm carrying myself to come across as, me not caring about John or me not really paying reverence to him. I respect everything he's done. He defined my childhood. He was on my screen for 19 years before I left Nigeria and came to the States. He was on my screen the entire way. So I respect John. I love his work. I admire John. He's the man. But what's poetic about all this, and I've said this multiple times over the course of this weekend, is that his end is my beginning. And that's something special right there.
You strike me as someone just so hungry to improve and so hungry for more and so hungry for these opportunities like the one that you had tonight against Cody Rhodes. But is there a part of you that reflects on that kid growing up in Nigeria who was the biggest wrestling fan, who watched John Cena on his screen for 19 years and think, wow, I'm doing it?
I think about him sometimes. Not all the time. I'm always, forward ever, backward never. That's always my mentality. I always put one foot in front of the other, and I don't necessarily look towards the end of the tunnel because that in it of itself can be distracting sometimes, but I never look back. But sometimes you hit some milestones and you catch yourself in that moment because you're always asking when is my moment going to come? And then you get so caught up in fishing for that moment that it passes you by when it's there. And I've had so many successful moments in my WWE career. And sometimes when I catch myself in those moments, I think about that young boy.
Is this one of those moments tonight?
Yes. This would be, if I didn't do this interview, probably not. But you asking that question has definitely, made me remember and think back. Young Obafemi would definitely be proud of this moment.
You talk about moments. There's a moment in the match where you could feel the audience kind of on this ride with you. And that was that, I mean, massive forearm that went right over the commentary table. It was incredible to watch when you nailed it. I mean, did you feel that energy? Did you take a breath to go, oh, I have him?
Oh, yeah. You know, the momentum swings back and forth during a match. I mean, in most cases when Obafemi wrestles, the momentum goes one way. But, you know, we're talking about the number one guy in the WWE right now. So Obafemi versus Cody Rhodes, momentum swinging back and forth. But you can always tell when there's a significant moment in the match, when the momentum swings heavily in your direction. And me plowing him through that table was one of those moments. And I had to capitalize. And I definitely felt that in that moment. It didn't win. You know, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but it was definitely a big moment.
We'll talk about the ending of the match. I mean, I think a lot of the fans were disappointed that it ended in the disqualification. Drew McIntyre coming in. You put your hands on Drew McIntyre. There was almost this moment where Drew looked up at you kind of shocked, just at the shove, at that display of power. Was that you taking your moment that was potentially robbed from you in the sense that you didn't have this finish over Cody Rhodes? Was that frustration with Drew McIntyre himself?
It's nothing personal between me and Drew right now, but he definitely robbed the fans. He robbed me of my moment too. And me shoving him was me sending a message, because I've said the future is here. And that message is not just applicable to Cody Rhodes. It's for every single 40-year-old veteran on this roster. The future is here. The future is now. And the now is me.
Well, I think this is exactly what John Cena had in mind when he said he wanted this retirement not to be about it being over, but to be about what's next. Every interview that he's done, he's talked about the fact that he should be forgotten. And I think that you coming in are sitting there going, yeah, and that should be replaced by Obafemi.
I agree.
Oba, we appreciate you giving us this time right after that match. I mean, do you feel on your way out, do you feel like this is a milestone? I can only imagine, right? Because, I mean, the people who listen to this podcast, people who listen to Not Sam, you coming to the main roster is a topic of conversation that is frequent and consistent. And I feel like giving people this taste is going to amp that conversation up by about 10,000. Do you feel like you have reached a point now where, like you said, undeniable is the word that you describe yourself as? Do you feel like you've shown the audience that may not have been aware before Saturday night's main event why it's... I didn't want to say your time is now based on where we're at, but your time is now.
I mean, yes. I mean, they've seen it for themselves. I mean, I don't need to. I feel like the work speaks for itself. I don't need to talk too much anymore, because I just went toe-to-toe with Cody Rhodes, and I belonged. That's all I'm going to say. That's where I'm going to leave it. Toe-to-toe with the best in the company, and I was right there with him the entire time.
Did Triple H say anything to you on your way out?
He said we're going to make magic. And I agree. Because, you know, it doesn't get more complete than Obafemi. Everything you need, the strength, the size, you give him a mic, magic. We will make magic.
I appreciate it, Oba. Thank you for giving us this time right after an event like this on a night like tonight. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Shout out to Obafemi. That was just amazing. I know there were a lot of Obafemi fans.
Tons.
That were going like, this is the moment. I want to see what they do with him. And like the fact that not only did we get to see something pretty spectacular from him, but we found out that the boss wants to make magic with Oba.
How about that?
I mean,
when you asked him what Triple H said, I was like, oh, please tell me. Please tell us.
Yeah.
Give us the scoop.
Don't keep that to yourself.
We're going to make magic.
I mean, and I believe it. I believe it. I believe every bit of it. You know, I think, well, you'd have to be blind to not see what's there. But I think Triple H sees what's there. I think that when you talk about the future, right, and how deep this is, because it comes up all the time that so many of today's biggest stars have been around for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
However, that makes sense. Like, if you can still go at the level that the people around here can go at, then you're going to get better as you go.
And it's
that's
also
how
not
stars are
just
made.
getting there, it's staying there.
Exactly. And getting better. And also,
It's not like, oh, I made it. Time to go.
I'm done. Right.
No.
Right. And I also think that the wrestling stars are becoming bigger than they ever were. Like, it's becoming a normal thing that somebody becomes a giant star in the WWE and then goes mainstream. This
Like
model.
John Cena.
John Cena, The Rock, Batista. Like, it's like, oh, that can be, you can, and we're seeing now that, like, we've got a main event scene where the biggest movie in the country is Zootopia, and Roman Reigns and CM Punk are in it.
Yep.
We're coming up to John Cena's final match, but at the same time, we're seeing footage from this Street Fighter movie that's coming out, and Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns are in it.
Which, by the way, that was some crazy footage.
Amazing. But I think that like, the definition of a star is just getting bigger and bigger to the point where maybe we haven't exactly seen it before.
It's not one in, one out.
That's right. But if you look just at tonight and you realize, like, all I can think of is, like, okay, you got Sol Ruca and Zarya, who are going to be able to just be these massive stars in the women's division.
Without question.
I saw this tag team match with Leon Slater and Javon Evans.
Talk about stars.
If you don't look at Leon Slater and Javon Evans and realize that not only are they next up, but they're going to redefine the level of relatability that they have, the level of connection that they have with the audience. They're going to completely redefine what a giant star in wrestling looks like, and they should. They're 23, or whatever they are. They're in their early 20s. They represent this like whole different generation. And I think even though AJ Styles and Dragon Lee were victorious, they fully recognize, like, this is where it's going.
It was wild even seeing Leon Slater on this level as well, because Javon Evans is someone that we followed in NXT since Level Up. Leon Slater comes over from TNA. He's been working with Javon Evans on NXT for a short amount of time. And every time you see him, you go, yep, that's it. And think about the amount of people who hadn't seen him on TNA or who hadn't seen him on NXT. And tonight they turn their TV on to watch John Cena's last match.
Right.
And they see this tag team.
I mean, imagine you're 10 years old and you see Javon Evans and Leon Slater. And you know what you're going to get?
So much fun.
You know what you're going to get to do? You're going to get to follow them for 15, 20 years. You're going to go into adulthood. And this is who you're going to be looking at. Obafemi's a young man.
Mm-hmm.
Sol Ruca's young. Like
people are going to remember where they were when
Yes.
they first saw these
like
these
the
superstars.
the talent that's there. Kids that are watching them now are going to go into adulthood with, oh, that's my guy, and they're going to grow with that talent the same way that somebody like me did. Like, I know exactly who my guy was when I was a kid, and then oh, now they're same way John Cena was that for so many people.
Do you know how many kids are going to be walking around tomorrow going,
Again, are you talking about me? Because I am definitely walking everywhere like this from now on.
you always do.
I do. Oh, I try to sneak it in. You know what I mean? It looks so cool when he does it. I can only imagine it's cool when I do it too.
It's not.
The realization. Well, by the way, that's an opinion thing. That's not a fact-based statement. You know, just because you're not like the arbiter of cool.
But my opinions matter to some.
That's true. That's true.
It seems like it matters to you right now.
Well, it hurts. But the idea that, like, I mean, imagine this. Obafemi versus Braun Breaker. You see what I'm saying?
on.
Like, and it's not even like, it's like, who knows? That's a rivalry that could be 10 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
And they're still talking, you know, it's just, there's so much in front of us that it really is interesting. Because to me, like I was saying earlier, I think, I watched that John Cena match and I go, it's so rare in wrestling that you tell this story of a character and you have the beginning in the middle, in the end. And that's what you had. John Cena is probably, as far as a character in wrestling goes, the most complete story that anybody's ever seen. And everybody knows it. Mm-hmm. The beginning is Kurt and ruthless aggression. The middle is Super Cena, and the end was tonight. But on a bigger picture, if you zoom out, if you put on the macro lens and get rid of the micro, John Cena's story is a small part of a bigger story of something called professional wrestling. Mm-hmm. And at the same time that we end that story, there is so much that is beginning and so much that can be there for another 10, 15, 20 years. And I think that that was what John Cena wanted this to be. And I think it was effective.
Staring at the blank page before.
Love that song. I didn't think you were going to go with, like, who was that?
Natasha Bedingfield.
Natasha Bedingfield. I didn't think that was going to happen.
And the rest is still unwritten.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like, the crossover between, recap listeners, WWE fans, Natasha Bedingfield. I don't know if it's...
Small portion?
I think so. I think the Venn diagram is thin, but that's going back...
But maybe we reach somebody.
That's going back to the, more the, little balls that R-Truth was talking about earlier. But...
You had to get balls in there one more time, Sam.
I mean, to the people that it hit hard. So congrats on that.
Thank you.
Megan, what has other than R-Truth mentioning Nick Aldis's British balls, what from the tournament, what do you feel going out on this night?
It's poetic. I didn't like the way I felt standing on the floor. I didn't. It was sad. I wanted the good guy to win. But when I really reflect back on Cena's retirement tour and I think about these superstars that were showcased tonight, I do get really excited. I was bummed out sitting in here talking to you about the end.
Oh, I thought it was because you were here with me.
Part of it.
Okay.
But I was also bummed out talking about the end. When we talk about Sol Ruca, when we talk about Leon Slater, when we talk about Javon Evans, when we talk about Gunther, when we talk about the future of professional wrestling, I get so excited.
It's an exciting thing, and I'm so interested to see what Monday night looks like.
Yep.
Monday Night Raw is going to be a doozy. We will be here to recap it all. Make sure you're subscribed across all audio feeds. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel and leaving comments and leaving likes. This has been the Saturday night's main event, John Cena's final match. Recap, a WWE and Fanatics original production presented by Minute Maid.